The Omwaka'S at 5, man. Bwana.
This far we have come.
Ebenezer. God has been faithful.
Very faithful.
Imekuwa miaka 5.
Hauamini kwani? Hauamini unaona ni
miaka mingi
sana.
Miaka 5 si mchezo bwana. In this world of what that is full of confusion, is full of hatred, jealousy, friendship, enmity, love, hate. The world is full of a lot of things, the world. And so, and a lot, being said, a lot in the air. So if you're not careful, you sometimes will miss out on a lot of things, especially when it comes to your personal life and personal decisions. If you're not careful, sometimes you miss out on very important decisions in life. Therefore, we are just grateful to God that it's been 5 years, and we have still been able to listen to Him and to just listen to ourselves.
True. And
to decide or to figure out what we want for our lives and for our marriage, and to keep pressing on, and keep the love afloat, and, and the commitment and a lot of things. Personally, me nashukuru tu Mungu. Siwezi kusema ati I've been the perfect guy or ati nimecrack marriage. Nashukuru tu Mungu. Sijui
mi naweza sema, yani when I look back, the other day I went to the first place where I met you.
Yeah.
And it brought such memories. And for us to be here today, I must say it is God. Because this is one relationship that has really been in the limelight. And a lot of people hoping that it could fail. But I think what has just kept us strong is to see where we have come from. To see how we have maneuvered through everything. Not listening to voices outside and just focusing on ourselves. And that memory just brought back especially a lot of things that I myself didn't even think I would pull through. Because like I said, even in my previous interviews, is that I was not looking for a relationship. But God just has a way of working things out for you. And I don't regret anything that we have done the last 5 years.
It's been great.
Because I have seen us grow.
Yeah.
Both spiritually, both in terms of our relationship. And I don't think we have reached the prime yet. I think 5 years normally, like I was reading somewhere, the first 5 years of is it 5 to 7 years of our relationship is so crucial, because this is the time you figure out each other and actually ask yourselves, do you want to stay? Is it worth it? So I think we've done already 7 years of our 5, if I can say that. And I'm just really thankful to God that He led us to each other in the most unusual way. I have been able to just learn so much, and every day for me is a learning period, especially in my relationship. And I think what has even worked out for us is that we are more friends than we are lovers. because I think friendship is the most valued thing in a relationship, and we have proved that actually love is beautiful.
Yeah.
So I think number 5 is a very, very significant and one of my lucky numbers. Either 2, 5 or 5. So I think 2025
Gonna be a good year.
It's going to be a good year.
Yeah, 2025 at 5. 2024 was quite a heavy year. Not for us, but for marriage or for marriages. And each day or most of the days went and you know, you flip through the social media and one marriage has gone down and another one has gone down and another and another and another and another. And I realized that the devil was, you know, the devil fought really hard to break marriages and to discourage those who have seen value in marriage. But all the same, as much as he has been able to show people the marriages that have been unable to work, it's only that the ones that, you know, have worked and the ones that are still, you know, pushing through are not loud enough to be able to show that it actually is a beautiful thing. So usually bad things have more airplay and you know, get to be louder than good things. And that's why even in most of those marriages, it's not loud when they are in the marriage. It's loud when people have broken up. You know, true. People have much more to say about a broken marriage than one that, you know, is intact or one that is working. So 2024 was that kind of a year, but I'm just praying that, you know, 2025 and going forward, God will restore, you know, marriage as an institution that, you know, that He purposed it to be, and you know, the core purpose of the institution will be established by most of the people who get into it, and that they will be able to want to commit themselves to it, because it really is a beautiful thing, and there's much that is aligned and you know, much that is connected to marriage as far as just the life of a human being is concerned. And there are many places, there are many, you know, spaces and steps in life that you're able to only unlock when you get into marriage, you know. So I just pray that, you know, 2025, even those that have broken and you know, there still can be a conversation for people to come back to, you know, the commitment and push on. I'm just praying that God will, you know, help people to be able to see the bigger picture and you know, the good thing that it is.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to marriage, like what I have seen with us, I specifically like to give myself an example, because I am in this relationship with you, is that marriage is a commitment fully, yani 24/7. So if normally, sometimes when you see relationships that are not working, sometimes one person is not committed. I mean, the levels of commitment in a relationship are not the same. So you find like maybe one person is overworking and the other person is just there.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're doing more for your relationship to work than the other person. So I think a lot of problems come into place now when you have such a relationship. I'm not saying that we are experts in marriage, having been together for 5 years, but I think the level of commitment in a relationship adds a lot of value in it. I don't know what you think.
I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense when you speak about commitment. But then, like I said, we are in a world that, has a lot of confusion. The world is busy with a lot of things. And so commitment is key. But then it also comes with a lot of things, commitment also comes with a lot of understanding. It comes with a lot of sacrifice. It comes with a lot of self-discipline. And you realize that in life, people have different levels of strengths and weaknesses. And therefore, not to give weaknesses as an excuse, but there are people who they are like that in their lives, and they need to work on a lot of those things. And so there's that commitment, but there's a lot of all these other things, and there's now communication, which is also a major key. And you realize that when it comes to communication, then it doesn't just mean for us to communicate about the good things only, but also communicate about our weaknesses and see if we are able to support each other without judging. If we are able to listen to each other and not judge, which is never the case in most cases. Especially for ladies, but maybe for men. But for ladies, it's easier to listen. But to judge is almost a constant.
Depending on the issue.
Depending on the issue. So you realize that even when we talk about communication, sometimes people would want to come out with some of the things that they are going through for you to be able to help me, or for you to be able to in a loving way or in a mature way support me come out of it. But then some of those confessions would make one start judging, okay? So that now when we have a misunderstanding or anything, you'd bring up
your past.
Not even the past necessarily, but or even in your mind, sometimes, like for example, if one has the tendencies of cheating or being unfaithful, and they confess that to you, it doesn't leave you in the same place. Even when there's been a confession and there's someone has come out and asked you to forgive, and sometimes you'd feel like you've forgiven, but it will still keep coming back.
I mean, I think as a human being, and especially when it comes to relationship, and there's the issue of cheating, I'm not sure if people actually can forgive 100%.
And forget.
Forgive and forget 100%.
It's not easy.
No.
It's not easy. And that's just being human. So it will keep coming back. So at times you'll realize that there are times when you even flip, not because of the mistake that has been committed at the moment, but the things that you're thinking about. And sometimes you'd be in the house and say someone is outside on doing their things, but in your mind, So I think that has been one major reason for most of the things that we have seen in relationships. And I would say life has or the devil or life itself has just a way of and especially in the recent days or in this in this season or in this generation, life has a way of, messing marriages up because of, bringing onto you some unnecessary things or unnecessary, and you realize we are now in a generation where there are people who don't mind being in a relationship with you even when you're married.
No, I think
it's not like it's not like the days when these rings used to make sense to people. It doesn't make anymore.
In fact, I
sense.
think having a ring
in fact, having a ring is now being endangered.
Yeah.
It's like showing that you can be a committed person, or so we are in such a tricky generation, and I think it's only that we are in the world, and not everyone starts or runs a marriage depending on God. Most people get into marriages because someone has a big bam that you are attracted to. Some people get into a marriage because someone has money, or someone looks good. Most people get into marriages for very different reasons, and most of the times those reasons are not reasons that can sustain a marriage. Most of those are just not even short-lived. There are things that you see and you think that's what it is, only for you to realize that it's not something that you want to live with for the rest of your life. So I just wish we were in a world where we had to go through a season of being able to ask God and to learn to be friends, so that by the time you get into that marriage, you have really decided. It's not because of just one thing that you saw or what you thought, because seeing, especially a woman, seeing and men, they say we're visual. So I would look at you and think you are good. but when we get to different places, I realize, it's not what I ordered for. It's not what I ordered for. So, and you've gotten there already. So you're holding on to this place because you don't want to hurt this person, but this is not what you wanted. So sometimes what you see
it's not what you get. It's not what you ordered for.
And not everything that is shining is gold. But then I just pray that God, and this is my prayer. It's not something that I can just it's not a desire anymore. It is a prayer that God will help us now to be able to honor and to take very crucially this issue of people getting into a marriage, because right now in a generation that we're in, there are people who even they don't want to get married. We meet today, we go and have sex, then everyone goes their way. There are people who even have sex in the Uber. You just meet someone, an Uber driver, you go somewhere, and they keep saying all those things. On Twitter and everywhere, they keep saying what they do with each other. So by the time you're getting married to this person, what should be a very sacred and what should hold you together, those values are not there anymore. And the pride of a man would be to be able to have a woman of integrity, and it's not in both of us, because it's messed up already. So for you to be able to for us to be able to come back to that place, and I pity the generation behind us, for us to be able to come that place, it needs a lot of prayer and just for God to be able to, this generation that is down here, for him to just be able to cover it and to restore the dignity and the value of marriage, the value of self discipline, the value of one respecting themselves, because I feel like there's no more respect for
no.
Self-respect is no longer there. I think we're just moving. We're just moving with the seasons, and we have let our lives not have some sense of direction and a lot of things. When we were growing, when I was growing, I'm now 37 years old. So those days when I was like 14, 15, you know, my teenage, that adolescence season for me, there were still values. You're still not able to come with a girl to your house, like to, you know, bring a woman to your house, or maybe it was, ladies were still, being in a relationship was still a big deal. You know, it was not as easy as it is right now for one to just, you know, we can just date.
Yeah.
You know, those days, and that is where the word tabia mbaya came from. You know, sex those days was kufanya tabia mbaya. It's not tabia mbaya anymore to kids. I wonder how it's not tabia mbaya, because hizo enzi zetu ilikuwa tabia mbaya, unajua, hiyo ni tabia mbaya, unajua, yani ndio kitu iko tabia mbaya kweli, ni kwa sababu unajua, lakini saa hii na feel kama imeacha kwa tabia mbaya, unajua. So so times have changed, and I pray that God atatusaidia sana na unajua, hata enzi zetu tukigrow, ilikuwa ngumu sana mtu amention kitu kama sex hata kwa church. Yani hizo kuna zile topics hatuwezi hata ongelelea, yani hata kwa shule, yani hizo ni vitu ngumu sana za kukame up hata kwa watu ambao ni watu wakubwa.
Welcome to the 20th.
Sasa tuko kwa mahali hata mtoi mdogo sana na kukufundisha vitu ushangae, unajua hii umetoa wapi? Lakini ndo the day I went to visit a friend of mine, and you know, mtoi wake I think ako 4 years old. Sijui aliona nini kwa simu, alafu akakuja kuambia baba yake ameona 2 men kissing, and I was thinking, yani ndio mtoi juu ya watu wana kiss, ako 4 years old, yani ashajua. Sisi I think hatuko najua vitu kama hizo, wase wamekuwa exposed. So
but coming back to what you said, don't you think those things you have mentioned, like getting to know somebody, people are not ready to go that mile? It's a long time.
It is. It depends.
It's a very long time.
It depends.
By the time I learn your tabias,
but you see, that sacrifice of, and it doesn't necessarily have to be time. Also,
what is?
It doesn't necessarily have to be that long time, because you see, baby, it is better you sacrifice the time, or you be patient with the time, than get into something that will mess you up. I watched a video yesterday, and I'm not saying these ones didn't take time, but I watched a video yesterday of a woman who wanted to stab her husband.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know what the husband did, but this is a case where now someone wants to stab the husband. Okay? If you had taken time, and I'm not saying they didn't take time, because I don't know what happened, but if you take time with someone, a little time, you can be able to know the temperaments of this person. When she's annoyed, what does she do? Or when she's excited, what does she do? Or what usually happens with her? You know, so the benefit of time is always just to enable you to understand how to even treat this person. You know, what are some of the things that you like to do? What makes you happy, you know? And so if I am in love with you and I'm committed to want you to be a happy person, then I am able to understand the things that makes you happy. What makes you feel good sometimes? You know, those are things that I'm only able to know when I spend some time with you. Understand? So a good example is like for us guys.
That's when what happened with us?
Yeah, what happened with us is we got to know each other, okay, to meet each other. Then there's COVID.
Okay.
So we have all the time to ourselves together. Okay. At least a week or even 2 weeks is enough for me to know, this person is like this, you know. So in most of these times when there's no COVID or there's no all these things, you realize that sometimes for you to meet, you know, you just have conversations over the phone. Maybe someone is working, so you get to meet maybe in the evening, a few minutes, mtu anarudi home, kesho anarudi job. Unaona? So haupati time ya kushinda na mimi sasa nakaa na wewe the whole day. Tunalala, tunaamka the next day niko na wewe, the next day. So for us tungechukua a shorter while for us to know the kind of person that we are, or the kind of people that we are, because we were together all the time through the days. So that aspect of time is still counts. Just for the purpose of being able to know someone, and that's why they keep saying time will tell, because time always tells the truth. You know, time will always help you to understand a lot of things. And in this period, you can be able to tell, hey, I want to be in this relationship, or I want not to be in this relationship. But even with time and with all that,
do you think people can? Is it possible for somebody to pretend for a year?
You can't pretend for even 2 weeks. Someone who won't be able to tell that you're pretending in the first like 1 month that you meet is a fool. Is also just a person who is foolishly in love. Otherwise, if you wewe ni mtu uko na akili tu unaweza jua huyu kuna kipindi anakuanga nayo. Unajua 1 month, a few days kuna ka consistency fulani kanaruka. Unajua? Kwa hiyo ukikuwa mtu uko na akili tu utaweza kutela huyu. But as I was saying, even with all this and even with time, you can be able to still take time to learn someone and understand a person. But a few years into the marriage or into the relationship, kitu inatokea tu yenye ina bring confusion. Unajua? And those are things like maybe sickness, or it would be things like mtu labda afutwe job. So when you got to know this person, alikuwa job, and therefore you have been able to accommodate this person akiwa vizuri. So au kujua vile utareact ama vile utakaa naye, sasa zile wewe ndio anakutegemea.
So you think also in relationships, finance is also one thing that
it is a major thing. only that we usually don't. What's the question?
Yeah, because okay, maybe for us, ours is a bit different. Because I think when you and I met, most people had this assumption that I am the one with the money. So you have gotten into this relationship and we are together because of my money. But with time, and this is something that I in fact, I think I mentioned to you the other day. When I see people, especially people who don't even know you, and people who just knew me because of you, and who don't know you, they have just come to know Guardian Angel because of his relationship. Them not even knowing how you have gotten to where you are. And as much as sometimes you can't come out and tell people who this person is, but looking back to my relationship with you, meeting you, okay, me, I have a job, your kind of career, and especially when we met, things were locked. So you had no gigs, you had nothing, you had nothing. But during that period is a period where you released like so many songs, which now are paying you back. So when I look at what people think and say, oh, this guy probably is with this woman because of her money, do you think that money is a problem in relationships, especially with people who don't understand the journey of a couple?
The reason why I want to say it is because of even our relationship. That the main reason why people would think I am with you is because of why they go to other people. Their motivation to a relationship is what they think is everyone's motivation into a relationship. And you see, that came up more than any other thing.
Yes.
Okay? So then that just interprets what the society is like when it comes to the money
Money talk.
Yeah, the money aspect or the money factor in a marriage. That really shows how the society is. And that's why most people will think that for me to be able to come into a relationship with you is no other reason but your money. Okay? So mi nafikiria pesa ni kitu ya muhimu sana kwa maisha na ina playing role kubwa sana kwa both breakups na kwa stability ya familia. Ni vile inakuanga imefichwa. Unajua, inakuanga I wouldn't come to you directly and tell you it's your money I want, but in my heart I would know. You know. And also, even without telling, you get married to someone, and this someone is not able to provide for you. So sometimes you would have issues with this person, not because of the issues, but because of the fact that they can't provide, but you can't tell them it is because you can't provide. You know? So ni vile tu do ndio hiyo ndo inafanyanga kila kitu.
Money is the source of everything.
Yeah, hiyo ndo hiyo hufanya kila kitu. So wakati inaondolewa, it takes a lot of maturity, it takes a lot of commitment, it takes a lot of discipline for one to still be able to stay even without it. Okay? Or for one to still be able to stay even without being on the receiving side. Okay? It takes a lot of all those things. It takes you for you to now ask yourself, why really am I in this relationship? Okay? It takes you sitting down and asking yourself, what can I do for this relationship to still be able to stand even with this situation? Okay? Which normally doesn't happen. In most cases it doesn't happen. So you realize, kidogo kale kaheshima kanaanza kushuka. Unajua? Na pia wakati mwingine utapata sio heshima inashuka, but mimi esteem yangu inashuka. So sometimes some of the things that you would say to me, even jokingly, I would feel like you're saying this because right now I don't have money. Or you're disrespecting me right now because I have lost my job or I don't have money. So it is just to say that we as human beings have put ourselves in a place where we feel like our security is when we have money. Okay? And especially for us men, we feel like security, meaning you want a door, that's when I can be able to call shots. But I feel like it should go beyond that. It should be in the person that you are, that you're still able to even respect yourself wakati uko na mingi ama uko na kidogo, so that it's not what you have that defines who you are. Okay? It is not in the money that you have, but it is in the person that you are. Okay? So so that we are able to, I'm able to still love you, or you're able to still love me the same when I have it, and I would, and this would love to really comment that even when you came into my life, I was not in a very good place financially. And this is something that I was able to grow slowly. Yani, kulikuwa na hiyo kaku jump start. Unajua?
I mean, you told me between you and Poverty you had 10,000.
10,000. Nataka ni kule alafu iishe saa hiyo. Unajua? So, but then kulikuwa na ile ku jump start. Unajua? And for me, it was not my space to dwell there or to not feel like I have a voice in this house ati because sahi umekuja kama sina kitu. I still, how I speak to you today, it's the same. Now when I have a lot of it, and even when I had little, it is the same. How I love you today is the same. It hasn't changed, because for me, I think God helped me even in that time to understand it is about the person that I am and not what I have. So that if I was able to relate with you that time based on what I have, then when I get more, I don't feel your importance. Okay? But then since who you are to me is the same, it doesn't change based on what comes into our lives. What comes into our lives because we are together, and for it to help us to do what we need to do, but it doesn't define how we feel about each other. And for us, it has helped us to, for the 5 years to be able to really move and to really do very great things that if you look at what we have done and look at the amount of time that it has been, then I think it is way more than the years.
Exactly, because if I was to look back the last 5 years, let's say the first year when we met, it was about, like, let's say, knowing each other. COVID came, like for the first year, we were not working, so we spent like 99.9% together.
The only time I've ever slept away is one day, and that was because we were wedding the next day. So for the last 5 years, I have never slept.
We have never slept apart.
We've never slept apart.
Yeah.
So that means we have been together. The only time that we've not been together, and even that day when I slept away, it was hours, because I left where you are at around 10, so I went to sleep like 5 were up already. So we've slept apart for hours. So it's 99.9999.
Yeah. So when I look at it, like that first year, like 2020, the whole of 2020 was during COVID. So 100% we were together. Then the following year is when we got engaged. And then the following year, I mean, I think for us, every year is very significant. 2020 we meet, 2021 we are engaged, 2022 we are married, 2023 our first. What was significant about 2023? Is that the first time we bought our first property together?
No, our first property we started. I think we bought it before a month. Was it a month or 2 months before the wedding? Because I remember we had already started working on the place, that we had to stop a bit for the wedding. Then after the wedding, we went back. So that was, I think, in just the second month, the second year.
So when I look at us, and we have had growth, and I think that is something that is very significant. I didn't see it earlier, but when I look at it, I think that's what defines a relationship, growth. If I'm able to look back 2 years back and I see what has happened in our relationship, I feel like a major milestone which we would not have achieved if we were not committed, especially to ourselves, and to look at things, because we have moments where we sit down and we ask ourselves, what do we want to do? And I'm not sure if that happens in a lot of relationships where you sit down and plan for your future. I think for us, some of it starts like a joke, you know, because I remember the first money that you got, and this is something I keep reminding you of. You get a small deal, and all that money you decide, I am going to invest in something, which has now grown into this big thing. So I'm wondering, do you think most relationships, people sit down and actually plan for a future, or does it just happen that many people don't take time to see where they want to go?
I don't know. Sometimes you even get into that marriage because it was a one night stand, then you realize I want it a bit more. And then you stay together for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then one of you is pregnant, and you feel like you want to stay here for, you know, because and it's a marriage. And then 1 year later you realize, hey, no, this is not the person really, but there's something that is holding you guys together. So you realize that how we get into those relationships most of the times, you're just in that relationship because you're there and because of, you know, things that are holding you onto it, but it's not someone that you want to plan your future with. Okay?
It's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's not something that you want to sustain. You just can't get yourself out of it, but you don't want to be in it, you know. So and there are cases, and I have been able to speak with some of my very wealthy friends, because I hang around very wealthy people nowadays, and because I want to be the fifth one. So the four wealthy ones, I am the fifth one. Anyway, what I'm saying is, you realize that you even have friends who have properties that their wives don't know about. You know why? Because there are still things that you think about this relationship that you're in, or the woman that you're married to, or even the husband that you're married to, that you don't want them to know some of your properties. Okay, so it is a confused space. There are people who sit down and plan, but there are people who still they don't trust. You know, they also don't trust. And there are people who've been in that marriage for even 20 years or even more, because for you to be a wealthy person, there's also the age factor. It is a very important thing to do for you to be able to align and for you to be able to unite and to have one goal. Okay, it's easier to build on one goal than it is to do things separately, or to be able to do things that your spouse doesn't know. The reason why it is easy for me to tell you about everything that I'm doing and most of my investments is because and the other day when I went to now get some of our other property, and the lawyer was asking me, so what name do you want to write? I told them, you have to write both names, because if anything happens to me, then it is you. That is something that I believe most people don't like doing. But the reason for me to do that is because I don't attach myself to the things that we get, because we are all not living in this world forever. Okay, and so when we are not in this world, those things have no importance to us. So for me, I think it's just for me to understand that these are things that we own here to make us feel good, but when we are not here, then it should help the other people who remain. So it's not for us to attach ourselves with. And I saw a lady friend of mine, Will Broder, saying somewhere that she looks at some of the pride that people portray when when they think about the things that they have or the money that they have. And no, it's not important because you're not living here forever with the money. So for me, I think what has helped me is for me to know I am here for the time that I am here, for me to enjoy and to serve
work
God,
hard and to work hard and to
enjoy the things that I work hard for, but not to attach myself to those things. Okay, so my value goes beyond what I own, but just the person that I am. So if I'm able to make you live a happy life and to serve and to make you enjoy life, that for me is a bigger thing to achieve than what I think I own. But what I own is very important. Yani ni vile tu watu sema pesa sio kila kitu, yani pesa inapita lakini wacha ipitie kwangu ikipita. Ni vitu za dunia zinapita, lakini ni muhimu zipitie kwako. But kwa hiyo process ya hizo kupitia kwako zisifanye nifanye sasa nianze kufeel ati mazee na feel kama na need kitu ingine yenye ni iko tofauti kidogo. Unajua kuna hiyo tu hali tu hiyo. Kuna ile kwanza kufeel sasa you're not the right person. And a lady called I think you, not even me, called you the other day. You told me and they were telling you how their husband feels that they are not the right person for someone that you have lived with for like even before I got married. So that's like 7 years because they got married before me. So that's like 7 years. And then years into the marriage, when they even have children, now the man realizes huyu si level. Unajua hiyo ni pride. Hiyo ni pride. Na hiyo kamna zile vitu zinakuja kwa maisha. So I think for me, my prayer is always for God to help us to understand the person that you are and to want to fulfill the purpose of God in your life, which I believe God would not create you for you to come and own things in the world and be prideful. God wants you to be able to own a lot of things and to be very wealthy, but to be wealthy so that you can be able to serve the people of God.
That brings me to a question. I saw something the other day, and I don't know how people think, but when we put out a post about our little place, it's little, it's not little, and some people ask, why are you investing where your wife comes from instead of going back to your roots? And I found that quite appalling because I'm thinking, I live in Kenya. As a Kenyan, I can go and invest anywhere I want to invest. Why does culture think that you being a man, you have to go back home?
Okay, I don't know. It's how they are raised. Most of them. It's how most of them are raised and what people believe. I don't know what they believe. I don't know what they think like that. For me, the reason why it's easier for me, and even before I got married to you, that was still my plan. It's only that when you came in now, the plan was catalyzed and there was now some sense of direction and all that. But for me, the reason why mina kwetu ni Butere. So for me to even build a house in Butere today, you tell me when I will go to Butere. Juu nimeenda Ushago kuona ng'ombe. Cause I have a farm and I have all that and I have chicken. So you tell me I am farming, okay? Nalea kuku wa kuuza. Nao kuku na walea Butere. So ndio niende Butere nichinje kuku nilete kuuza Nairobi. Hizo ni siku ngapi? Because kwenda tu Butere peke yake unless naenda na plane, ndio ni drive ni siku mzima. Alafu nilale, kesho nirudi. By the time nafika Nairobi na hizo kuku hata unajua So for me, the reason why it's easier for me, because our home is like 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes from here. Yeah. So it's easier for me to be able to monitor the things that I'm doing. It's easier for me to be able to run my stuff and you know, naweza enda nilale ocha na nirudi. Unajua? So it has nothing to do with that mali
umeenda kujenga kwa bibi.
Na wewe kwenu si Mua Hills. Unajua? So the fact that hapo ni Ukambani tu emaanisha ati hapo ndio kwenyu. Na pia sijaenda kujenga nyumba kwa boma ya babako. So
no, I saw that and I'm like, really? I mean, people,
those things don't matter.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you see,
but you know, there are a lot of people who
those things only matter to those people who have not gotten the money to invest there. Yeah, it will. Ni kama saenda kuambia, gari mafuta, mimi siwezi nunua gari sasa. Mambo ya mafuta mimi, mafuta vile inaendelea ikipanda. Ni tu juu sijapata do ya kubai gari. You know, let me tell you. When I used to live in a single room ya 4,000, nilikuwa nasema hata nikipata do aje mimi kwa hii maisha yangu ya muziki, siwezi pitisha hao ya 10. Ya nini? Hao ya 10 nipitisha, na huku kuna mahao mzuri za 10k yenye ni 1 bedroom na natoshea vizuri. Hata nikimari ya nini? My friend. Ni 10 times ngapi saa hii? Ni 10 times ngapi? You know, and I'm very comfortable. Sasa saa hii ndo siwezi, ni ngumu kwangu kurudi hapo. Unajua? It's only that I didn't have that time and it was not necessary for me that time. That's why I felt it was not a good thing. But when you get to grow, you realize, kuna mahali mtu anafikanga inakuwa sasa hapo mahali ulikuwa comfortable, si comfortable anymore. Understand? So and I don't need to answer to anyone about hata constitution ina allow. Unaweza enda mahali popote. Hata wengi wenye wamebuy properties zao huku Nairobi. Na sini watu wengi wanaishi huku Nairobi na wamemari mabibi zao huku Nairobi. Mbona hao wana invest huku kwa mabibi zao? Because these properties zote. Yeah, because most of these properties you see around this Karen of ours, these are not only Masais who live in this Karen. We have Kikuyus, we have Luyas, we have different tribes. But sikuna watu wanaishi huku ni wa Kikuyu hapa Karen na wamemari Masai. So mbona wana invest kwa Masai?
I think it's just a backward mentality that people think that, and I think in this generation where we are, we are not in a place where we are waiting to go and twende tukatiwe plot na baba yetu tujenge hapo. You know, I mean, people have grown past that. I have some questions that I'd like us to answer. And one of it is, how do you feel about the current state of our relationship?
I'm happy. I'm as happy as I was the first day. And of course, through our relationship, I've been a happy person, and that is very evident. So the current state of our relationship, we are in a good place.
We are in a good place.
We are in a very good place. We feel happy about each other. We love each other. We still have, you know, so much
same fire that we had.
The same fire and so much passion for our relationship and each other. Okay. So the current state is good.
Okay. And what do you think we can do together to strengthen our bond?
We have a strong bond. So we just need to continue enjoying.
And how loved and appreciated do I make you feel?
100%.
Wow. And what are your expectations of me?
To continue the same. With the same spirit of love, respect. You're a good woman.
Oh.
You're a very good woman. You have made my life beautiful. So wewe kanyagia tu hapo mali. Hiyo chapati ulikalia. Usijaribu hata kusonga hivi.
Nisisimame hata.
Lalia chapati. Yeah.
Okay, and how do you prefer to handle conflicts or disagreements?
We already know how to do that. I think and they are minimal nowadays because we now have grown. You know, we have grown to understand what we want in life. So for us, it's just to be able to talk about things. Good. You know, be able to talk about things, avoid the excuses. avoid pride. Avoid feeling like, you know, you're too big or too I don't know which time I can use to apologize or to, you know, be able to calm down. So I think it's usually just pride. Na ego, kuweka ego juu, unajua. So for me, conflict yoyote ina handle yangu tu na mtu kukiwa na mmoja ako chini, mwingine ako juu. So anytime una feel tuko juu, ni mmoja tu akubali kurudi chini, which ni mimi most of the time. Ndio ipoe. Si ati kwa sababu mimi ndio mnyonge. Ni vile tu napoesha kwa sababu unajua mimi ndio kichwa ngumu. But anyway, ni kwa sababu nataka ipoe turudi haraka. Vizuri tuendelee. Unajua?
And I think this one, I think we can be able to answer both of us. What do you think is our greatest accomplishment, and what do you want our future to look like?
Wow. What our greatest accomplishment is? For me, I have always looked at success in what I do as being in a place or getting to a place where I do not need that what I do for me to eat. Okay? So, in this case, is success for me always was, especially musically, for me to get to a place where I don't need to necessarily perform to survive. Okay? Because when it gets to a place where I don't have the same energy, then that means I will stop surviving. Okay? So the greatest accomplishment is for us to be able to work so hard to get to a place where even without, you know, necessarily having to perform. Like right now, if we stop singing, nitaenda kwangu, niishi kwangu, nikule kwangu, nilime na nipate, nijisustain from my home bila kuperform. If I stop performing for 1 year, I believe I still can be able to eat just from within my own space. Na mambo ikikwama, niko na kwangu mahali naweza enda. Hiyo for me, it is a huge accomplishment, because yani ukifikiria tu venye ni rent, lazima nifanye kazi juu ya hiyo rent, lazima nifanye kazi juu ya hiyo kitu kidogo ya kudishi, especially kama ni msanii, where it puts you is you're able sometimes not to even refuse some gigs. And me, unajua sahihi ukata gigs za $500,000 ndio ngapi, nikifeel tu hii sitaki ama haifiki value yangu, ndaikataa, ama na feel kama inani exhaust, ndaikataa. Unajua, but kuna mahali ningekuwa singeikataa kwa sababu we rent, we food, we unajua bills, unajua kuna mahali ingekuwa ngumu sana for me kukataa. Na hiyo inafanyanga msanii unakosa kukuwa na value fulani, kwa sababu sahi una need do urgent sana kama 10,000. Alafu we ni msanii mkubwa sana, lakini kwa sababu hiyo 10,000 ndio unahitaji sahi, ukitwa show hiyo 10,000 utashindwa kuikataa. So utashindwa kuweka value, utashindwa kukuwa scarce kwa sababu ya ile mahitaji uko na. So for me, the biggest accomplishment, which doesn't define who I am, because that's just what I have, but the biggest accomplishment is for us to be able to build our home.
Speaking for myself, I think one thing is that I when I look back, I knew I wasn't wrong about you. I knew from the first day I had that song that all you needed was a little push. And I am so grateful to God that He gave me that vision to be able to push you to your next level. And you really have worked hard to be where you are. And when I look at all the reports, you know, like in the socials of who you are, especially as in your career, it really gives me a lot of pride to know that I wasn't wrong. And you have earned everything that you've ever wanted for yourself, and even more. And the fact that when we put our heads together and decide that we want something, we work towards it. You know, we put everything that we have, our finances, our minds, our everything, you know, even to see you open your own record label, you know, and to see where you are in your career. I think that is one of my greatest accomplishments in the first 5 years of this relationship. And I just want to thank God for just being able to give us the humility, the grace, the favor with God and with man. So I where I want to see us in the future, because I have already started planning for my retirement, is that God will just continue to hold us together in this relationship, to grow more, both in our careers, in our relationship, to grow our family together, the people around us, as we wait for the second coming of Christ.
Where I want to see us is, I have done it in the million mark. I want to see how it feels in the billionaire
club.
The millionaire club I have tested, I know how it feels. I want to feel the billionaire club. See how it feels. See how the people there, the few people there feel. But beyond that, where I want to see us in the future is being in a space where we can be able to serve the people of God, to be able to win souls. I want to sit down and look at the souls, the people that we have won to Christ, and the people that we have supported, the people that we have lifted to make them have a better life, or a life that counts. I want to, sit down with you in future and just be able to look at what we have done for other people and to feel good about it. And that can only be done when we are able to settle in that billionaires club. Because the little that God has given us right now, we have been able to do much, and to support. But I believe we can be able to do even much more than that when God, uplifts us. So I think where I want to see us is, just continue being a blessing to the hearts and to the people. So, when you asked my biggest accomplishment, then I have two accomplishments. I have my accomplishments as Peter Omwaka, and I have my accomplishments as guardian. So what you spoke about is for me as guardian, but I spoke about for me as Peter Omwaka. Yeah. So musically, there's so much. We've been able to. We have a label. We were able to do our first gig Gospel One, which was amazing. What else have we done as far as music? We are able to sign an artist and to support them. So there's so much that we've been able to accomplish. The greatest of them all, as far as music is concerned, we were able to be the most viewed artist
in East Africa,
in Kenya. Was it in Kenya? In Kenya, but the most viewed. East Africa number 6. Yeah, so that is huge. That's huge, because those are huge numbers. So there are many accomplishments. There are many things that we can, if we start counting, there are a lot. But as guardian, the numbers and what we have been able to do as far as the gigs and everything are concerned. But as Omwaka is Omwaka.
And to end it all, love wins.
Love wins. It has won. Aye. Cheers. Cheers,
my G.
5 and more.
5 and more.
5 and counting.
5 and counting.
Safi bana, kata hiyo kitu.